we're so good at podcasting because we have no idea what the fuck we're doing.
Hi, welcome back to Pink Floyd 2. Overheard a UniSFA podcast. We're coming at you here from the dark side of the moon. Wait, fuck. No, we're coming at you from behind a wall.
The left side of the moon.
From behind a wall, well, like 4 walls, UniSFA's walls. We wish you were here. Anyway, so that was a momentary lapse in reason. Probably won't make the final cut.
I don't know enough about Pink Floyd to get these bits particularly, but I know that you're doing bits.
We're like animals in here. Anyway, I'm here with me, my buddy Cam, and also my other buddy, Jay.
Hello.
Jay's here. I'm actually elsewhere.
It is I.
Yeah.
God, I've all out of bits. I spent it all on all those Pink Floyd bits.
Okay, that makes sense. That's alright. We can talk about things that aren't bits. We can do things that aren't jokes. We can be serious.
Bites?
Yeah.
We can be serious. Like
just
what?
like bites.
Bites.
Like
No, wait, no. Bites are bits, though. Just more of them.
No, a bite isn't a bit.
No, bites a few bits.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like a joke.
like a
So you're saying we have to say 8 jokes in rapid succession?
Well, no, because it's like 3 bits to a joke.
It's...
Or something.
Cam. Why is Mars the sexiest planet for sci-fi?
Alright, look, I say something stupid one time and you're gonna bring it up immediately. You're gonna get me like this?
No, I just
I've
thought it'd
already
be a conversation
accepted,
topic.
Alright, you're right.
I think
Everyone's...
it's because sci-fi readers are like bulls and that they see red and they go for it.
Yeah, but the book we were talking about was Green Mars, so I don't know if that plays here.
What about Blue Mars? It's over there.
Blue Mars is in the same series, yeah. So
Have we got
unfortunately,
like
Why
is there
are
a
these
red
people
Mars?
painting Mars?
They're putting RGB lights on Mars.
Okay.
fuck yeah, that's pretty sexy.
That's pretty sick.
So you
But
like
yeah, as I realized immediately after
rapidly
saying,
alternate between reading red Mars and green Mars and blue Mars.
yeah,
The year is 42069. Gamers have colonized Mars.
Again.
When we look up in the night sky, we see a giant blinking dot of red, green, and blue.
unfortunately, immediately after agreeing with the statement that Mars is the sexiest sci-fi planet or whatever the fuck it was, I realized no, it's clearly Uranus. Come on, boys, we can do better than this.
Yeah.
If you
Boys is
see
my little
the
brain cells. They're
RGB
little
Mars in
guys.
the night sky, it blinks, and if you translate it into Morse code, it says "Get wrecked, noob."
Oh, I thought it was the kid who does a rave every time he kills someone in COD. Just he's taken over Mars.
I love that guy. He gets one kill in God. He sets off like a rave. There's like pyrotechnics
It's
in his room,
amazing.
and he just dances.
Like I hear the song and I'm like, oh, it's the song that the kid raves to.
It's so good. Please search
It
it
is
up. I'm
amazing.
begging you.
One day I'll get a kill in a video game. One
Play
day.
Celeste, you will get many kills.
I'm so bad at platformers.
Yeah, I was not good.
Anything 2D, I'm like, fuck, you want me to think in one less dimension? Fuck this. But like, you put me in an aircraft and I'm like, a third dimension to think in? Yeah, let's go.
It all comes back to Star Wars Squadrons.
It does. It really does.
I was thinking then,
game.
what could I talk about? I was like, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, but I did that last week. I'm thinking a lot about this show. Jay, what's the one game I associate you with? The one piece of media, apart from Animorphs, is Final Fantasy XIV. Apart from all the other pieces of media.
Are you perhaps talking about the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV, which has an expanded free trial including the entirety of A Realm Reborn and the award-winning Heavensward expansion up to level 60 with no restrictions on playtime?
Final Fantasy's really good, and I'm glad they made it for teens now.
Jay, I am going to require you to pay me for that bit, because clearly
No.
whoever makes Final Fantasy... What, Square Enix?
Yes.
Isn't. God. When you say Square Enix, I don't think Final Fantasy, I think Just Cause.
This podcast sponsored
That
by
is
Round Enix.
Weird. Like, yeah.
Anyone...
Final Fantasy is Square Enix and vice versa. Also Kingdom Hearts.
Also Just Cause.
Okay, if
Do
you say
you
so.
know Just Cause?
Also Life is Strange.
Huh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
It is, isn't it?
In one of them, Max
It
is
is
like,
pretty strange,
oh,
isn't it?"
yeah, Final Fantasy Advent Children, or one of the Final Fantasy movies, was so good I should watch that again.
Wow. Wow.
Plugging your own shit's such
Yeah.
fucking...
Yeah,
it's always
I think
funny.
it is pretty funny. Anyway, listen to the Overheard and UniSFA podcast.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I've been an avid listener in all episodes except for the last one.
What even is... I like... Final Fantasy XIV's an MMO.
It is an MMO.
I
but
know like nothing about it.
it
We've talked
is-
about MMOs in this.
We've talked about MMOs.
We've talked about Guild Wars. We've talked about the Destiny.
So I've played a good few MMOs, including a lot of the big ones, and unfortunately, Final Fantasy XIV is the only one I couldn't get into.
That's honestly, it is like the main story is a slow burn. The entire Realm Reborn, the entire base game, like
Yeah,
they're set up for it for stuff that is all the way in Endwalker, which is like made like 10 years later afterwards.
yeah, it has made me appreciate why Destiny has done the model it's done with that, where it's like, yeah, you can't play the content from like 4 years ago, but on the other hand, like, fuck, if you had to go through all of that to understand what was going on today, it would be a lot.
It is a lot, but it is so worth it, honestly. And like, that's just the main story quest, which is like one part of the whole thing. There's like, no other game I've played before has an active nightlife. I actually work as a dancer at a nightclub in Final
What?
Fantasy. It pays really well.
Like
That's
real money or
fucking
in-game
incredible.
money?
in-game money, of course. I don't want to get banned.
Oh, you need to get that in-game money though, so you can buy those in-game houses. There's an
Oh yeah, I
economy
bought
in
a
this
house.
game. You bought a house? Nice.
Yeah, with my money I made from dancing at a nightclub.
I have
It's
a friend
amazing.
who plays a lot, and yeah, she has explained to me how fucking rough the housing market is in this game.
Oh, it's actually fine in Australia because no one is here. There are so many empty places.
I think she plays in a different server, one of
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
the bigger ones, because she plays with people from other
and
states,
it
other
probably
countries.
will fill up over time. But like, there is a lot of empty space in Australia. So
This
Yeah,
reminds me
there's a
of, like,
limited
Second
number
Life.
of video game houses available, and so you get like fucking auctions, and you get like lotteries and
Oh my
things.
God, it's just real,
for
like,
the
real
chance
life.
to buy a house. Yeah, it's the one fucking economy more fucked up than real life.
I don't know. There is EVE Online.
Oh, that's true.
This reminds me of Second Life. Do you know that?
I know of it.
Game, quotation marks. It's like... What? How do you even describe Second Life? It's like...
It's like your life, but again,
It's
No.
like a Second Life, if you will.
there's not really gameplay.
It's not really a
mechanics,
game.
It's,
It's
just
like
purely
it's like
an
someone
RPG,
took an MMO.
but, like,
It's like if someone took an MMO and a social media app and smashed them together.
Like,
yeah, it's what Metaverse wants to be.
Yes, literally.
it's like a chat room with where people have models.
Yeah,
Yes.
you move around.
And like you can build shit and people code things and make money off it.
What if
and-
Minecraft looked worse?
And
No.
also,
Minecraft doesn't have.
CSI or one of those shows had a really bad episode, including it, as they do. How's this?
Yeah, good. Sorry.
Okay, my mic was going whack.
I want to see the CSI Second Life episode. My thing of Second Life was for one of my units in anthropology, we were having to do a study on ethnographies, which are like studies where people study cultures by going into that culture and observing it whilst participating in it. And I was cool, and so I did my essay on ethnographies about using examples from digital ethnographies where people go into virtual worlds. So rather than like people going to like
Meta anthropology.
so rather than like the book we were studying about a guy who went into drug dealers in New York, though I did reference that in my essay.
Of course.
I read like this guy who wrote a whole book about his like ethnography in Second Life, where he went into Second Life and like interviewed people and participated and observed the culture of Second Life.
So from what I know of Second Life, would that be reasonably described as anthropomorph? What was it?
No, keep going.
I'm making a joke about furries.
I don't actually think this was like in 2007. It was
Bud, furries are older than you are.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know if they were prominent on Second Life. It was probably mentioned
guarantee you they were the first major subculture on Second Life.
Yeah, okay, probably.
Fun fact.
I don't remember if it was mentioned in the book. I don't remember what it was called. It was
That's
by
fair.
a Tom.
Fun
Tom
fact,
B.
if you Google that episode, the first result
is the CSI
is
one.
Yeah.
Where they go to a furry convention.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, I didn't believe it, so I checked, and yeah, if you Google
Yeah,
that
me
episode, that's
too.
what comes up.
And, like, the next few results as well.
We should screen that episode.
Oh, okay. Sure.
It's bad.
The other book I studied for that essay was an ethnography of World of Warcraft. So this lady just played World of Warcraft and learned about the cultures and stuff in it. My favorite bit was that the name of that book was My Life as a Night Elf Priest, which I found kind of amusing.
Oh, World of Warcraft is so shallow compared to Final Fantasy, though. Like,
Oh yeah, but one day I'll release my Cameron Hall ethnography when it's
That's
done.
sick. Cameron's Hall by Cameron.
Oh fuck yeah! No, alright. Maybe I should. Well, okay, World of Warcraft. It's shallow for sure, but I think that does work for it in some ways.
it's like there's 3 main things you do in game, and all of them are fighting things. You fight other players, you fight raid bosses, or you fight super hard dungeons.
That's video games, baby.
I'd never do that.
Destiny player.
Destiny player.
I don't know. I like to do violence in video games. I think it's fun.
Yeah, honestly, it's good, but like, I've been hyper-fixating on Final Fantasy since, like, I picked it up again when I had COVID, because there's just so many different things to do. Like, I hyper-fixate on the story, and then I stop, and then there's something else completely different too. I level my crafting skills, I go to the Golden Saucer, I level an alt, which is, like, a different class on the same character. That it just...
What
really
is the
gets...
story? Give me like 3 sentences.
Okay, so the last one was the first game, right? That was the final one, and then they've done 13 more since then.
They've done more than 30. They're up to at least 15.
And then they've remade a
Probably
lot of them
16.
too. Okay, in 3 sentences, give me the story.
Of A Realm Reborn,
Final Fantasy XIV.
You are a defender of the world chosen by the world itself.
Okay,
You
first.
fight against elemental spirits summoned by beast tribes, and you fight against an empire that is invading. That
Okay,
is A Realm Reborn in 3 sentences.
sweet. It sounds kind of boring, but that might be my fault for giving you 3 sentences.
John, you get destroyed.
Also asking me in particular. I am not good at describing
Okay,
things.
Cam, could you describe the plot of Final Fantasy XIV for me?
Well, okay, so they did have to, tone it down a little for the teens.
Emphasis on a little. There's actually a surprising amount of, like, actually adult stuff.
Oh,
in
I
it.
know. I'm making a. It's Final Fantasy 14. I'm a bad person, Jay.
Yes.
No, yeah, I didn't get far enough into the plot to really be able to give you a description. I don't know. I play video games a lot of the time with buds, and I was sort of stuck going through that one alone for a bit at the start, and I was just, here though. Nothing's fun, as much fun, I think, if you're playing it without buds when you could be.
Yeah. Playing games with buds makes everything more fun.
And Oh, sorry, no, you go.
I think I heard an argument which is like, if you play a game and it's not very fun, but then if you play it with buds and it is fun, the game isn't good. It's just you're having fun because you're playing it with buds.
Yeah.
I heard that in the context of Payday 2, which is a game I played a lot of a while ago with buds.
Oh.
I mean, some games are like actively better with buds as well. Just
It's like an exponential effect. It's not
Yeah.
just like this is better with buds. It's like better with buds plus extra.
yeah. But yeah, because I was playing through early game content alone, and I was like, this isn't. It's not grabbing me yet. And I think if I'd stuck with it, I would probably have burned out a lot of my life by playing too much.
Fair.
So it's probably for the best all up. But yeah, couldn't really get into it. Also, I don't know that style of movement, like the World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy, like the MMO RPG sort of isometric movement around with your buttons to do abilities. It doesn't click with me.
Fair.
You don't like.
It works really well on controller.
Oh yeah, no, okay, that
Like
makes
a lot
sense.
better than on keyboard. You can access a lot of abilities way easier, and also you can have it so that like
I might try that next
you
time if I
face
give it
the
another
direction you're moving rather than always forward.
shot. Okay, that's cool.
Forward as in where your camera is pointing.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
One story I have to share is the books in the club room
Yeah.
Yeah, so people
You
may
got
have
books now?
we have books in the club. No, people may have noticed.
Huge if true.
People may have noticed all the books in the club room that have just been on the floor and shit, and that have just like moved around by a ghostly hand. Of like, you come here one week and the next week they are there, but slightly different.
Yeah, you've been putting a lot of work in.
And I thought I could take the podcast to explain what the fuck I've been doing, because if you're not in the committee meeting, you don't know.
What have you been doing, John?
Huh?
His
your
best.
mum.
Wow!
Damn.
Sorry for help for trying to provide a springboard to go into
Yeah,
it.
never try and help me again.
Killed as a free action.
Okay.
Fucking backhanded.
What was I thought of it. I'm like, I'm not gonna say it. I'm like,
You
I gotta
had
say
to. No,
it.
you had to.
So we received a donation of books from my old UniSFA member, Leah, Leah. I was like, sure, you can bring him in. We'll take a look.
Shout out to Leah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I was like, yeah, I'll take a look through them. I'll take a little scramble. We might take some in. And so started my month-long quest.
Yeah. No, anything to do with the library, you've got to really assume it's going to take far longer than it does.
What's the classic meme of that? That they auditing the whole library will get it through in a weekend?
Oh, yeah, we'll get it done in a weekend.
Do you wanna-
Fucking a month later.
Do you want to tell that story?
I forgot about that, honestly. So, yeah, we said we would audit the whole library to put it on the new system because that way we'd actually have record of which books we have. We were like, yeah, we could bash that out in a weekend. No, that was months of, at least a month of grueling, multi-person days.
Oh my fucking
Books are,
god.
they're full information. It's dense.
Okay,
And it turns out that our old system was a nightmare, so we had a lot of things that needed to be fixed.
God bless you all for doing that.
Oh, also,
I
it wouldn't let us import it directly, which did make it take a lot longer than it would have.
Why?
Partially it was because, again, our old system was garbage, and so we didn't have a choice. If you tried to import it, it would just give you a bunch of, duplicates and null entries and things.
Okay, that's awful.
So what I did is I got all the books, I went through every single one of them, and I was like, I'm going to do this in 3 hours, and then it took a day, and another day, and then another day. So the first day was going through every single book that we were donated, which I think was 150 to 200, maybe more.
Yep.
Finding every single book that we were donated that we already had, and then finding the version we already had, picking it off the
Seeing which
shelf,
was better.
and then putting them all together. I had them all on this couch I was in.
Yeah.
That took the whole day.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And then I put them all away, so I had them sorted into ones we already had plus the one we already had version of it, and then all the others. Then another day I came in, we sorted through all of them, deciding which ones to keep and which ones to not keep. So if we were donated a version that was either A, smaller, or B, better quality, we'd keep that version.
Yeah.
Otherwise we'd keep the version we already had. That took fucking ages. Then I went through all the ones that we were donated that we didn't already have, and found all the ones that were part of series we already had, but were books in those series we didn't already have. For example, we had a series which was we had the first 3 books, and then we were donated the 4th one. So we'll add that.
Chapter House Dune, the 6th Dune book that we don't have, and that my household also doesn't have.
Oh, we have it now.
We have it now, yeah. I know this because Jordy and I both tried to grab it, but you guys were actually keeping that one.
Well, we wouldn't have kept it.
Oh, no,
I had all the Herbert stuff in one box that I just ignored. I just didn't. I was like, I'm not dealing with this for some reason. So we've sorted all of them into ones we're keeping, ones we're not keeping, plus ones of series we have but don't have that book. And then I had to go through and every one I had to put all the books away that we were keeping, that we weren't switching.
I have a bit.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Dune by Frank Egbert. There we go. That's my bit for the day. Homestuck starring fucking
Colonel
John Herbert.
Colonel Herbert's what's the fucking book name?
Colonel Sassacre's fucking daunting tome of...
Daunting Tome of
Magical Frivolity and Practical Japery.
Yeah, that's the one.
Daunting Tome of psychic space travel and practical sandwormery.
Muad'Dib, yeah.
But all the books that I was like, yeah, we'll keep these back. Add all the books that add all the books that we were now switching over to there,
the system.
and then removing the old ones, including like putting stickers. Put all those back.
Make space on the shelves for the new books.
Yeah. Then
oh no, it's a nightmare task.
Add in all the ones that we were now adding because they were part of series we had, but we didn't have all the books. And that involved moving some. We ran out of space in the small books library, so that involved moving every single book in the small books library like down to.
Yeah, the issue is that adding new books cascades the whole system across.
Yes.
We tried to leave a little bit of space when we redid it recently.
Yeah, we've
left
a little space for, now. So that's what happened. It took like 3 separate days.
You've got the hollow eyes of a man who's been doing this for a while.
Yeah. I will say I didn't do it by myself. I had help from people. I think the 3 main people I remember helping was Amelia, Fiona, and Misha. So thank you, those people.
Out to those
Fiona and Misha basically did all. I didn't like do any of the cascading of like moving the books. Both of them did all of that. So thank you, God, for helping. Oh yeah, also Danica helped a bit with the sorting. Thank you, and probably some other people I forgot about. Thank you all.
UniSFA is part of what burned out the part of my brain that makes me hold on to stuff. A lot of it was some stuff with my grandfather's sheds, but it comes into play here where I'm like, oh, I can throw anything out now. I've seen some like real not exaggerating actual hoarding, and I'm like, oh, I can't keep things anymore. Scared the shit out of me.
I went to a relative's house when I was in England, who didn't actually turn out to be one of our relatives. Wild story. And
it was one of those things where your family calls them your uncle, but they're not. Or is it one of those things where they killed and replaced your relative?
I think my it turns out my nan, who's my grandma on my mum's side, dad, who she thought was her dad, wasn't actually her dad, because my mum's really into both my parents were really into genealogy and family history. So my mum was doing research, and I think found out eventually that who my nan thought her dad wasn't actually. So it turns out this person who we went to, who we thought we were related, we technically weren't actually related to.
I mean, if they think you're related, you think you're related, then it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. It's not weird. It's not like we walked into a stranger's house. It's not like we walked into a stranger's house, but it's a little.
There is an imposter among us here.
Yeah, they were a hoarder, and it was like, wow, this is a lot of stuff in this house. Why do you have a Christmas pudding randomly stashed?
Okay. You want to hear what broke me? You want to hear the straw that annihilated that part of me and it never came back?
Yeah, you no longer have a camelback.
So my grandfather, step grandfather, yeah, whatever. He had multiple big sheds, right? That he used to store. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say it was 900% complete garbage. But I really broke when I had to burn a fucking stack of bushfire safety manuals, outdated ones, nearly as tall as I am and big. I had to burn that because they were a fire hazard.
That's
yeah,
that's funny as hell.
Yeah, and that's just one. These sheds were larger than the UniSFA club room each, and there was 5 or more of them.
Just filled with stuff?
Filled with stuff, and it's not stuff that you should keep. It's just stuff. So now I can throw out anything because I'm like, do I need this? No. And I do not want my grandchildren to have to throw this away.
I swear, every time I throw out something that I've been humming and hawing for a while, instantly it's like, oh, no, I needed that afterwards.
No, that's different, yeah.
My stepdad's moving soon, so I'm having to put stuff into boxes, and I'm not able to throw things out recently. I'm picking up a bunch of old birthday and Christmas cards from when I was a very young kid. And I'm flipping through them maybe these ones have some nice messages in them. I'll keep them.
No, I can't do it. I have to get rid of those things.
I'm looking at because I had the opposite thing of these have too much emotional value to me. I'm like
No, that's
getting
fair.
emotional feeling them.
No, that's
I
fair.
have to keep them.
And that's something that is completely like reasonable. I'm just like I can't anymore. So I was in Augusta over the weekend because my grandma's been moved to an aged care facility, right? So we were going through her house, and it was like she wasn't as bad as her husband, but she was pretty bad, man. We and like my dad and his sister were like really, they would occasionally deliberate over something. I'd be like, guys, this ain't it. But that was most of the time we'd all agree that things should just be thrown out. There was never a lady more prepared to write Christmas cards, given how that she never wrote Christmas cards. She had so many Christmas cards like ready to go in terms of she had like the cards and the stationery and everything.
So she just never got around to
She just never did it.
That isn't that human.
Yeah.
Cam, how do you feel about the fact your house has like 4 copies of Gideon the Ninth in them? That's unnecessary.
At least 3, right?
I think.
Well, to be fair, we've got 5 people, and even if you consider Merlin and I to have one library between us, which is fair, that's still 4 copies of Gideon the Ninth. I don't think Jack owns a copy of Gideon, but I think the rest of us do. So it's at least 3.
I hope listeners of this podcast can slowly.
Yeah, my housing
slowly
situation has been mentioned almost every week.
Slowly piece together Cam's house.
Yeah.
Eventually, I've actually been giving subtle hints into his address every episode.
Yeah.
If you listen to all of the episodes another 5 times on YouTube and you like and subscribe,
I'll just tell you where I live if you ask. Just
that
fucking
too.
ask me, coward.
Just go up to him and be like, "Hey Cam,
just come to my house, ask me where I live. It's that easy.
I listen to the MP3s.
hey." I'm glad someone
Where
does.
where do you do that?
I
This is a threat.
I didn't put up the MP3. I just put up the YouTube link for the last episode, and I was like, "Yeah, no one probably uses it."
Yes,
and then like someone
people.
immediately was like, "Hey, where'd it go?" And I was like,
would
"Okay,
have done that too.
okay, I guess I'll put it back. I
If
guess we're
they
keeping
had
it."
not already done that.
Because we got we've had 2 of my housemates on the podcast. We've had Merlin and Jack, which leaves Ave, Geordie, and Bo. Bo's
Bo
the
on the
secret
podcast.
housemate. Yeah, we can get Bo on the podcast. We can't get Bo on the podcast.
Yes, we can.
No, he need the cables.
Oh,
He's just a
someone
little
just
man.
holds him.
Oh, that won't stop him. He's a fucking real bastard of a man when he wants to be. You can't contain him.
Cam, so someone can come up to you and be like, "Hey Cam, where do you live?" You tell them. They're like, "Okay,
Yeah, just come to my house and ask me where I live.
I love
that
D&D.
easy.
Watch your back."
Come to your house and ask you where you
Yeah.
live.
Well, I'm not
going
to come to you. Fuck, it's you're the one that wants to know something.
What if we message you on Discord?
That'd probably work, yeah.
Okay.
It's not as funny, though.
Well, message you on Discord, find out where you live, come to your house, and then ask.
Alright, if you need my Discord account, just message me on Discord and I'll give it to you.
What's your Discord account?
I'm not going to tell you, you gotta message me.
Don't say it. Don't say it for the...
It's Cam something.
I'm sure no one in UniSFA will be able to message you without asking.
Well, this goes out publicly.
This does go out
I'm
publicly.
saying, I'm sure no one in UniSFA will be able to see his profile in the Discord and then message him from it, like I did a few days ago.
My mum asked me to give her a link to the podcast. So, hi, Mum. It's only taken me, 6 episodes to say that?
I realized last episode I was talking about my dad listening to the podcast, and he only listened to the first 5 minutes of it, but I realized if he listens to that full episode we recorded last week, he's going to hear me, kind of talking about it behind his back.
Well, it's not really behind his back if he's listening.
Well...
I guess now he knows.
Yeah, fuck. Sorry, Dad. I
Meanwhile,
appreciate
John has
your
made
advice.
it so that I'm never going to show this podcast to my mom.
That was John's fault? I feel like that was probably my fault.
No.
What was?
Oh, I've said some fucking stupid shit on this
No,
podcast.
okay, yeah, but
Like the whole
gave him
Scrope World thing?
I asked him a question about organising the library.
Scrope Man's World.
Just go back and
listen.
listen to the podcast again afterwards. I'm sure you'll understand. Man.
I do when I'm listening to the audio of this podcast after it's been recorded, listen back and hear things people say that I didn't hear the first time because I am either talking or I am too busy thinking about what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Your mistake is the thinking.
I think
Just
a
don't
lot.
do it. Just don't.
I have to think about what I'm going to say, otherwise I stumble over my words.
No, that's Mel's like that as well. See, I'm the opposite of that. If I start thinking, that's when I'll stumble. My mouth is way faster than my brain.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Jay,
my brain works.
Jay, you used to live near me. Did you ever go to like Murdoch Station much?
Yeah.
Do you remember Barry? Do you know Barry?
I have
Murdoch...
no idea who.
You don't know
Barry
who
is.
Barry Murdoch Station is? I need
No.
to get Freya on this podcast. She'd know.
Who the fuck is Barry Murdoch Station?
Barry is a Transperth like guy. He works for Transperth.
Okay.
He is like the bus like coordinator for Murdoch State train station. And
I'm
he's
imagining
there
the fat controller from
he is.
Tank Engine.
I can bring up his picture. He's been in news articles. Barry Murdoch Station. Search him up. He looks like Santa Claus.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Okay. Oh shit. I had a. Oh yeah. No. Okay. Well, want me to go into an RPG bit here?
Okay, sure. I'm gonna bring up Barry later.
Yeah. No,
I'm
for sure.
Going to look at Barry right
So,
now.
a game I really like. I've only played it a little bit, but I've read through a lot of it, and I've heard stories as well.
Oh, okay.
Unknown Armies is a spectacular game.
I know nothing about it, but it has a really cool name.
It is. So Unknown Armies, there's a few things going on, but the magic system in it, there are two kinds of like magic based characters. You've got your like wizards who all have like a domain, right? So you've got your Dipsomancer who is alcohol based, right?
Okay.
So your Dipsomancer gains their like magical energy from drinking.
Okay, this
and
is
you
not
get,
where I
like,
thought
you
we'd
get
start.
3 different scales of like power you get. So you get like regular drinks give you like the lowest level of power. Like drinking like very heavily or something will give you a lot more power.
Is the other
And
like
you can get-
domain like Buttermancer? They get it from smoking from hitting fat blunt joints.
I'm pretty sure there is like a drugs build, like a drugs wizardry.
drugs build.
Yeah, no. But and you get your highest level ones by like drinking either famous like drinks or from like famous containers. So like the Australian Bevs build, right? You get your your best like power by like if you could steal Ned Kelly's helmet and drink out of it.
Oh fuck!
That would charge you the fuck up, right?
You said Australian like drinks. I was like, yes, drinking. My brain immediately went drinking out of the Australian national anthem, which I'm not sure how you would do, but like maybe you like print it out onto some music paper and make paper
If you
mache
could somehow
cards.
drink out of the boot from the Simpsons episode, that would give you the highest power.
Oh yeah,
level,
if you get a shoey, if you do a shoey,
I'd say a shoey is probably like second tier. If you were to lean into the Australian level of it, you could probably get it to second tier. Otherwise, it's probably first tier. If you get an important shoe, though.
Find the first written copy of the national anthem, turn that into a cup, drink out of that.
Yeah. And you've got your, like... And the thing is with Unknown Armies is that you're not playing as, like, functional members of society, right? You're playing as fucked up weirdos. A lot of the magic is all, like... And, like, you know, if you're playing as a wizard who gets your power from drinking heavily, chances are that's going to have some fucking consequences for your life, right?
Yeah.
And some of them are worse than that. I had the first character I played in a one-shot... I forget what it was called, but their power is based off of impersonating other people. And so you get the highest level of power by like impersonating someone famous like on TV or like in front of a lot of people. I had a plan too, which was a fucked up thing to do, but it was like if I ever really need power, right? You get somebody important, you horrifically burn you and them, and then you impersonate them on TV.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the level of like
Jesus
fucked up shit you
fuck.
have to pull, right? But that's like the wizards, and they're pretty fucked up because they're all horrible people. Wizards in general. There's no such thing as a wizard that's not some kind of fucked up monster.
Isn't your fiance a wizard?
Merlin, my beautiful, wonderful wizard boy. Yeah,
Yeah.
Merlin's great. I love Merlin. Wizards are evil. Yeah, but the other kind is your avatars who have a domain that they embody. So I know Jack, who's been on before, he played as someone who was trying to embody the guide, right? So that's like a major archetype is the guide. And if you can become so I think at the time in his game, the current guide archetype, the most powerful avatar of the guide was Dr. Phil. And Jack was trying to become the new avatar of the guide, but as a like they were currently working as like a tour guide, but they were trying to become like your YouTube guide avatar.
Oh fuck yeah!
Which
Cam,
would eventually
if I
overtake Dr.
say
Phil.
I want to be the avatar of Avatar, what is the most powerful?
I mean, like, I don't think there's a good person who you could say is like the avatar of the concept of avatars.
What about
right
like
now.
But would it like go to James Cameron? Would it go like Last Airbender? Would it be like
different
Would it be
things.
like, digital
is, right,
avatar?
Avatar's it's too broad. You can't really be the avatar of avatars yet, right? You could make one. But I had built I have a build if I ever get to play on Anami's again, the Bus King.
Okay.
Okay.
Elaborate.
So there's like a subset of the avatar set. So instead of the guide, it's the true king. So you are the lord within your realm, right? And so it's a dude who has like, you start off with like one bus route, and within this bus route, you are recognized as monarchy. So like the you have to enforce the laws of the bus. But people on the bus, like you get on the bus, and you pay for your ticket, and the bus driver's like, "Thank you, my lord." And like the people on the bus will like fucking die for you, but you will also protect them, right? You enforce.
So
you
you've
enforce
created
the
a
rules
little
of the
king,
bus.
a little loyal kingdom,
Yeah.
like a cult localized entirely within one bus.
You get onto the bus, and like you see the guy, and you're like, "Oh, it's the king." And that's like it. You recognize him as the king
But
of
you
the
don't
bus.
recognize him anywhere else, I guess?
No, because outside of his domain, he's just a fucking dude that lives on a bus. And yeah, like the plan was to like expand the domain to be more and more of the city's public transport system until the Bus King is recognized citywide
Nice.
as the like
public
the
transport
living
king?
of public transport. Yeah.
Wow.
Imagine you get onto the train and someone's making a fucking fuss, and the king steps out and tosses him out of the train bodily. The still moving train.
I want someone wearing like a really fluffy coat and like a crown to just
I need to
throw
interrupt.
troubledoers out of the
I should
train.
not have drunk Pepsi, and I should have gone to the toilet beforehand. Can we pause for a bit?
We'll just keep saying
We'll
things,
keep,
but
just
yeah, no, you're
keep saying
okay.
things. Yeah.
That's all good.
I will return. And probably make noise as I do so.
Yeah. Try not to knock.
No, it's alright.
Like I said, I will make noise.
Yeah,
you
I'm
can
not.
just cut this bit if you need
No,
to.
I might also need someone to open the door for me. because
Oh,
the
that's
door
fair.
on the way back.
I don't have a student card. I'm sorry.
Do you want to just take
Alright, don't
mine?
fall in.
I'll wedge the door open.
We'll figure it out.
Okay. Jay has now left the building.
Jay's just standing there. This is a bit.
It's now.
Jay's just ominously standing there in the doorway.
It's now just.
P-posing.
It's now just the
Mayor.
three of us.
Yeah, you, me, and Doug.
Doug makes. If any of you are wondering
You
why the
fuck
last
off from Jay's microphone, Doug.
If any of you are wondering why the last episode's coming out a bit late, it's because I have to remove so much Doug content.
Yeah, we've really dug
says a
ourselves
lot
into
of-
a hole there. I'm so fucking funny.
You're so funny. Yeah.
God, I love Unknown Armies.
I'm sure it loves you too.
Right, it's the most like, because there's the concept of like the murder hobo in RPGs, right? Where like most D&D parties really consist of people that don't really have like stable accommodation doing violence upon stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's really their whole character. But Unknown Armies sort of enforces that. Unknown Armies' character is like fucked up societal fringe, like monstrosity people doing horrible things. But like within like the realm of you are trying to do good, whatever it is. Sometimes you're just fucked up.
Can you invite me to play an RPG sometime?
God, I've tried.
You did try.
I did try. I tried to start like 3 RPGs this semester, and one of them pseudo-fired, and then I've had the most fucked up work schedule all semester.
Fair enough. The
I
more
literally- I've
you try.
Yeah, I know. Games are hard to run. I've had one normal week this month, and I'll
Oh.
get one normal week next month. And it's fucked. But
There's some
yeah,
there's some sort of ritual chant.
yeah, the tab's really gone off.
Yeah, the tab's going off. They're shouting, they're cheering. I guess Jay went out and started
Oh
entertaining
yeah, they
them.
saw Jay. We should shout and cheer when Jay gets back.
Yeah, we should.
Audience, you ready? We don't know when they'll be back, but you know.
They'll be back
Be
at some
prepared.
point. Just the 3 of us.
Alright, I'm going to talk
We
about
can
running
make it
RPGs
if we
because, like, fuck
try.
it, that's something I'm
I'm going to talk
relatively
about
knowledgeable
jogging RPGs.
Alright, no, good bit.
I'm going to talk about walking RPGs. One of the books we were donated was called The Lore of Running. Like Lore.
Yeah.
Like, new running lore just dropped.
Yeah.
Finally, we got the running lore books in here. We've got the Eve lore books.
Okay.
Now we got the running lore books.
Back in high school, when I was first like getting into RPGs, one of the most like fun little bits I did was my friend Charles and I, during a cross-country race, just bought a couple of D10s with us each and ran a little Dark Heresy one-shot.
During
During a race.
while you were running?
While we were running. We weren't running very fast, but we were just doing it.
Oh my god, that's so good.
Right?
Did you have like character sheets?
No, we knew it.
Fuck me.
Well, because we were like using generally average stats, and we'd played a good bit of Dark Heresy by that point, and we were keeping it relatively freeform. Welcome back!
Woo! Yeah, Jade's back. Woo! Woo!
And now I
Hundreds
have
of
a reason
casualties.
to listen to this, so I can hear what I just missed.
Yeah, that's me.
More like
Sometimes.
hear what you just
I'm gonna
pissed.
I'm gonna close the door a little more.
Yep. John's escaping. John's going to get cigarettes. He'll be back in 2 hours.
Wait, no, this is a perfect time to make piss jokes.
I already
Well,
did.
What?
I said,
What?
well, like what you were pissing. Not
Yeah,
missing.
but like we can get into
well.
a real good flow now of content.
yeah.
You
Nice.
know,
Yeah.
we can really relieve all our thoughts out.
Real stream of consciousness stuff.
Yeah, urine. Okay,
Uranus.
Murdoch Station Barry.
Sexiest planet.
I sent you the article.
My phone is at 1% when I
Okay.
started this
This
podcast,
is this
so we'll
is.
see
Can
how we
you,
go.
can you see what he looks like?
He does look like Santa.
This article is from 2016, where which apparently he was working there from 8 months when this article was written. But so he's been working at Murdoch Station as I don't know, customer
bus
service. Yeah, the bus king for like 6-7 years now, and there was a reason he was awarded like gold star for customer service because he is there every fucking day, or at least every weekday, like the whole day, and every single person that walks past, he's like, "Good morning, how are you? How you going?"
Happy whole day.
Yeah, he will literally greet as many people as possible. I'm walking past, like when I get to the station at like 6 p.m. or something, going home. He's like, "Hope you had a good day." Like he's
Like
been
at
doing
Walmart.
he's been doing this for 7 years every day, greeting everyone. He is so happy. He is in his lane, at peace, flourishing,
Good for him.
and making every single person who goes to that station's life better every day. He's literally like, and he looks like Santa. Like,
Living
shout
the
out
dream.
to
What
shout out
happened?
to
I
Barry from Murdoch Station, friend of the show, friend of the city. Like
Like, it's not like I didn't use Murdoch Station.
he's
I've
like
never
the joy
been
of
to
this
Murdoch
world.
Station. Or
Yeah, at
it's, like,
this point, like, you know,
Oh, yeah, maybe.
if
I'll
you've
probably
been there
been
long
there.
enough, you go past him and you say hi to him before he says hi to you. I can read out this article.
Okay.
Okay, it's from
we can link the article. Boy.
no, it's
Oh,
really
we can
short.
read it out.
All right, dramatic reading.
It's
of the
from
article.
July
We should
25th,
dramatic read
2016,
shit.
the Coburn Gazette. Not pronounced Cockburn.
It's pronounced Cockburn.
No, it's
I
not.
was
As a
about to
proud
say it's
Coburn
pronounced
resident,
Cockburn.
it's not pronounced Cockburn.
A
It's
Cockburn.
You
Coburn.
live
Right?
in Cockburn. You live in Bipra Lake.
Isn't it part of Coburn?
It's like it's not part of the suburb of
Part of
Cockburn.
Cockburn. Here's how Cockburny can still win.
Cam, maybe to impersonate someone instead of burning their face, Cockburn.
I mean, it would work if they were a porn star of significant
Yes.
note. Yeah.
Jay wasn't here for the.
No, Jay was here for that bit.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, okay. Mr. Murdoch Station's Barry always has a smile on his dial. I feel like one of those like YouTube channels that just reads out Reddit posts.
You did this to yourself.
like,
You know, no. We'll take requests. If you have a dumb thing for us to read, I'll read it. I'll think, no, that's fine. I've done dramatic readings of shit before.
what? I hope we get to the point where we do this every week and someone gets like a wedding proposal read out by us.
Oh, that'd be fucking wild.
That'd be sick.
Can you do a dramatic reading of the Navy SEAL copy?
When your
absolutely.
girlfriend calls.
I've already called her. She's awake.
Fuck, dang it. We can't
I
get
don't
Jay
actually
proposing.
talk to her. I just.
Oh yeah, I
just
don't
wake
talk
her
to
up.
my girlfriend either.
I just.
You can't see her either. Mr.
Doug
Tom
was a guy.
Doug is not my girlfriend. Do not believe the lies.
Oh, he's hurt.
Doug, you know what you did. You hurt me. We're never going back.
stand with you,
Mr.
Doug.
Thompson has spent the last 8 months. This was in 2016, as I said. He's been working
It's
there
really
for
just said
7
his
years.
whole name. I guess it's fine if it's in an article. but I
Spent the
feel
last
weird.
8 months as a customer service officer at the station, assisting public transit. Yeah, people can just Google Murdoch Station Barry and this will come up. Public transport users with their queries and ensuring buses are running on schedule. He previously worked at the station's news agency for more than 6 years. Wait, he's been working at Murdoch Station for 12 years?
Apparently, yeah.
This man,
That's longer than you've been alive.
Yeah.
No caliber.
That's longer than... A lot of people ask me if I'm the official meter and greeter, he said. I'm not. That's not my title, but I've made it my job to be so. It's just the way I am. I try and catch everybody as they come in the morning and say, good morning, have a good day. Now they're saying good morning to me before I get to say it to them. Mr. Thompson, of Success. He is of Success.
Success is a location.
It is near Cockburn.
What's that fucking... That bit that's been going on?
Step 1, Cockburn. Step 2, Success.
Achieving suckies.
Has received more than 35 commendations from the public for his great work. The praise earned him a nomination for TransDev's 2016 National Golden Star Awards. TransDev. 2016 National Golden Star Awards in the Passion category. The nomination was so unexpected, really. I'm only doing a job, but to get that sort of recognition is fantastic, he said. I know that if I can put a smile on someone's face and I can change their whole day. So I try and be the reason someone smiles today.
He sounds like a nice bloke. I'm terrified of the world in which this becomes normal.
Be like Barry.
What if all train stations were Walmart? I don't like it.
Yeah, but he's doing it out of passion.
Yeah, that's
he's
the thing.
not
Right?
doing
He's
it
doing it out of passion, but if it ever became like expected, like if he's like stops one day and they get a new person in, it won't feel good.
This man can't stop. He's married to Murdoch Station.
Yeah. I'm always in favor of like fucking the skeleton utopia. I think
the lock too.
How do you feel about making computers out of skeletons as logic gates?
The skeleton computer's wonderful, but it's an old like D&D. This is a D&D one, an old like D&D bit, I guess.
Thought experiment. Like
Yeah.
you give each skeleton a basic command, like you see these two skeletons. If both of them are raising their hand, raise your hand, or if one of them is, do it, or if neither of them are. You do this to make basic and or N or logic gates, and those are what you need to make a computer.
Okay.
So you get like a lich with a little pocket dimension crammed full of skeletons as a computer, and that's a dungeon.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty cool. I was gonna say if you're like trying to make a computer in D&D out of skeletons, theoretically your character just has the knowledge to make a fucking computer. Then,
yeah,
like. I hate D&D Thought Experiments so much. It's like, if you abuse the rules in this very specific way, you could do something dumb.
Railgun?
I fucking hate the peasant railgun.
The thing with the peasant railgun... Okay, so for those of you at home who don't know the peasant railgun, because D&D turns, as a whole, take a set amount of time, I think it's 6 seconds. Yeah. In theory, if you get a line of peasants that you hire, thousands of them, and you just get the first... You line them up in initiative order, and you hand the first one an item and get them to hand it all the way along the line, you can get it up to arbitrary speeds. The thing is, if someone's going to say that rules as written, I can make it move that far in 6 seconds, you go, sure, but rules as written, the guy at the end of the line puts it down on the floor. And it's not moving anymore.
Yeah.
The thing with the skeleton computer is that, like, computer parts are hard to make, and skeletons aren't. Skeletons are basically free.
You don't need a fuck ton of skeletons.
Computer stuff, though. Like, your necromancer would need to be, goddamn, what's his name? Alan Turing, the necromancer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, logic gates in and of themselves are like logic as a construct existed well before computers, right?
Yeah.
The idea of like your if and
I guess he was doing that.
Nor,
that's why they didn't like him.
Like that predates computers significantly.
Yeah,
that's just
turning a bunch of gates into a computer, though.
Turning a bunch of gates into a computer, sure, but like it's the sort of thing that like a fucking a lich can do.
Yeah.
I've taken that further. Back in it's time for Cam brings up the Empires games again.
Yeah. You haven't brought up Empires once.
I've brought up the CREB, I'm sure.
No, you.
What? No.
You mentioned the CREB offhand.
Oh,
you discussed the CREB like before a podcast.
Okay, well, should I go into that?
Yes.
All right.
What is a CREB?
So
why does it sound like crab?
Secrets?
What is an empire? I've never been in an empire.
Have you been in an Empires game? Either of you?
I've never.
Nope.
I've played nothing but D&D my whole life, except for 2 times I played
and...
Call of Cthulhu, and 1 time I played, and a couple times I've GM'd everyone as John. Also, the Honey Heist was a game I played at one point. That's a game where your bear is trying to steal honey.
I'm aware of Honey Heist. It's a fun game.
I have played D&D, NWAD, Dark Heresy.
Played other games actually.
Cyberpunk.
Nice.
There was one that I was thinking about, and it's gone.
Also, this light. I've also played.
Oh yes, the Fallout RPG.
I've also played the Sprawl, think I played like half a game of Monster of the Week.
I've played so many games.
I bet are you like being like these people can name the RPGs they played. We've played so little. Is that what you're thinking?
Not quite. I'm just thinking like, oh god, I hope I don't have to name all the RPGs
You're a
I've
fan
played.
of RPGs? Name 5 of their albums.
Jackie Chan.
Yes, he made the bit.
I don't even bother with the first 4 things anymore. I'm like, I know where it's going.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Oh fuck. So okay, Empires games are a thing that occasionally happen in new games. It's been a couple of years since the last one. Where
What is Empires?
so you get a couple of GMs and you get like upwards of 10 players for it, and each player is not just like one character or something. They're a whole faction within that world.
An empire.
Empire. Yeah. Well, it depends on which one it was. So the first one was they had a fantasy map given to us and a couple of things that were on it. But everyone created their own like fantasy like faction, and so you had a lot of different things. You had your Vikings, you've got various kinds of you had a goblins of some sort. You had a bunch of mycelium that had like a sub faction of the mushrooms that were like dudes that went around like moved around, but the actual mycelium was the real faction. That was run by Frames, who's wonderful, real friend of the show, Frames.
Shout out to Frames, friend of the show.
Yeah, no, she's great. But yeah, I went in with the idea of, all right, I'm going to build the softest, most friendly boys, and I'm going to put them in an indestructible shell so they can't be hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And I came up with the CREB Collaborative.
Was this the fantasy one? Or I thought this
fantasy
was
one.
I thought this was like. Oh, I assumed this was like a sci-fi one.
There have been sci-fi ones, and the CREB did worship the great CREB that lives in the stars, right? Which is just the greater CREB empire that they're going to reconnect with. But the way the CREB worked is they were a true hive mind, right? So one CREB, like it wasn't like they were individuals, they were neurons almost. So one CREB alone, you couldn't keep it alive, right? It would starve, it would die, it wouldn't process food. Mm-hmm. 2 CREB, you could, and by the way, they're like big fucking mud crabs the size of like the height of a human almost. Like
Jesus.
Big like
a small car.
Size? Not like a small, like a very small car, I guess.
Like okay,
like the crab people from Fallout. I forget what they're called.
Maybe I haven't played much Fallout, but big fucking crabs,
not
right?
a Fallout boy. Got it.
But yeah, if you get like 10 of them, they'll be able to like scuttle around and like look for food and like interact with the ground. During a freak fucking storm, 10,000 CREB washed up on one beach and detained immediate sentience. Right? So there's these big fucking crabs that have just like immediately start like vertical farming.
Maya lurks, that's what they're called.
That's the Fallout ones, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so the CREB, their primary instinct before anything else is teamwork. Because that's,
as opposed to group work.
Well, so as in like, humanity's first instinct is to ask for help, right? That's the first thing that we learn as individuals. But like the CREB, it's so fundamental to them. That's their first instinct on meeting a new scary thing, right? It's like, oh, that's a friend. And so immediately the CREB, because they couldn't expand properly, because if you separate a group of them off, they get stupid again, right?
Yeah.
So I built them, like their flaws were all based off that. Like they didn't have the best magic, and they couldn't expand almost at all because it hurts them to do so, to break off a chunk of their mind and put it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because until both of those groups expand enough to reconnect, that's like horrible for them. They remember that they're not whole. And on some level, they remembered that like as a species, they're not from here. They are a sub-mind already. Like they're gonna get back to the big CREB in the stars. But yeah, so the CREB,
like an inevitable doom. Like
no, like they're gonna get back up there and be part of the whole, like share the stories they've found with the big CREB, because they are the big CREB. It's all one thing. They had an envoy, Lorm, Herald of CREB, who's just there for when someone's uncomfortable talking to a hive mind. They're like, oh, it's cool, we'll get Lorm to do it, and it's just whoever's around.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but yeah, so they sent an envoy to every faction in the first like session of like the first turn, because it's like you get like a turn a week usually or something.
Yeah.
And an envoy is like 50 CREB, right? With one of them has and on each of the shells is carved a map to Cruss Station, the home base.
What is this,
and
Splatoon? What are these
this is
puns?
pre-Splatoon. All right, Splatoon wishes they had the CREB. And basically instructions saying, like, get these dudes farming. These dudes will farm for you. Because the CREB had the most powerful economy of any other of any faction in the game.
Farm for you.
They had maxed out economy, combat ability, and I forget what the other thing they had maxed out was, but they had really good like stats for that.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's like, oh, you've got like a squad of indestructible farmers here. And they are like completely like selflessly like, yeah, they're just here to help. And it immediately fucked up the economy. By the end of the game, I had a good
Picture of a
chunk
CREB.
of the
Will
players
this hurt
that were
the
left
economy?
were,
Yes.
were completely on board with naming the economic unit that you had that you gained. That was the CREBit. You could measure it in like CREB work hours. At some point, the mycelium like did some espionage stuff on me and discovered that like Crust Station was fucking chock full of orphans, and they were like, what the fuck, what sinister bullshit are the CREB up to? And I'm like, bud, no, orphans thrive here. The CREB will see a dude and be like, hey man, you want food? Like, yeah, just too friendly. And then when demons
Accidental
popped up, the
orphanage.
CREB were like, alright, let's fucking deal with that.
When what popped up?
Demons.
They didn't try to team up with the demons?
I believe that we'd confirmed first that the demons were a problem and like
Okay.
could not be teamed up with. The CREB were built to be soft, and then immediately one of their neighbors was like a living virus, and it was like, well,
Oh, okay.
we gotta quarantine that. Didn't want to have to do that. But yeah, the
You
idea
gotta
of
do
looking
what
at
you
another
gotta
CREB
do.
and not seeing yourself as well, like the idea of a CREB that you look at that isn't you, scared the shit out of them.
Okay.
Because it's just one mind,
Yeah.
right? It's like looking at your own hand, but it's not you.
Cam, your creative
think
mind
of the
fascinates me.
Yeah, I love the CREB so
Something-
much.
recognition of self through the other.
Yeah, it was the
They're
idea of
dialectical.
looking in a mirror and the mirror does something that you're not doing. That would scare the shit out of most people, right?
Yeah.
That is what like the virus CREB would be to them, because it's like, that's us,
Yeah.
but that's not us.
Yeah.
That's me, but it's not me. That's a nightmare.
This reminds me, or I brought this up last time you brought up the CREB near me, of my favorite race in Guild Wars. It's not a playable race, and I was really sad to find out that they don't really get built upon much. Like, they're around some areas, but they don't have too much extensive lore. It's just the Scrit in Guild Wars, and the Scrit are little rat people, who are very much your stereotypical rat people of, you know, they scuttle around, they're searching for food and shinies, they're like, shiny, that kind of thing.
John did hand motions as he said.
Yeah, I
shiny.
did a little grabbing
Yeah, just
hand
that one.
motions.
That's the hand motion you did.
And the cool thing about them, though, is, which isn't super obvious, like, when you play the game, you kind of have to, like, watch some lore videos, or it's kind of hinted in some things. It's that their intelligence is completely based on how close they are, how many there are to the others, which is kind of similar. I don't know.
It's similar,
do
yeah.
the CREB, like, get more intelligent the more they are?
Yes.
Wouldn't that make CREBITs hard to quantify, because CREB work hours would be like dependent on how many CREB there are?
Yeah, but it also meant that it scaled with everything. So it's like, as you know, as there's no inflation, because as resources become more abundant, chances are there's more CREB,
Yeah.
which means that they can produce those resources better.
Okay.
I want to let you know, if you ever hear microphone bumps, it's because
usually
Cam does very active hand movements, which sometimes
Says
means he
doing
bumps,
hand movements.
which sometimes means he bumps the mic. I say
Yeah.
doing hand movements, purposely not bumping the mic. God, I wish you were here,
I am
audience.
here. Oh, okay. Well, I will also be audience, but I will not be.
Sorry, that was another
audience.
Pink
On
Floyd
some
reference.
level, we are all the audience.
But they get smarter the more they are together. In the case of when there is not many there, they are like the dumbest race ever. You know, as I said, they literally just like see shiny thing, grab shiny thing, and then like on one of the maps in the game, there is enough of them together that they've got a little kingdom going. And it is
must have
theorized,
been
which
there.
is if you manage to get enough of them in the same place, they are literally the smartest things in this fucking game. There's one of the races is the Asura, and they're like they're like little goblin boys.
Yeah.
They're one of the playable races. They're little goblin like gnome people. They're very like technologically smart. Guild Wars is kind of a series which is like fantasy, but it also has like it's also a little steampunky.
Yeah, for sure.
With like guns and like cool technology and
Guild
stuff.
Wars 2.
Guild Wars 2.
Guild Wars is not a series with that. I've only played Guild Wars 1.
I've only played Guild Wars
Decent
2.
amount. It is not a series with steampunky stuff.
Guild Wars 2 is. The Asura are the technological savvy race that build all the golems and guns and giant lasers and stuff. And apparently...
the best Guild Wars 2 character is and always will be Jump Slam Dunk.
Who?
My tallest possible Nord with the
big
orange afro.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
And if there's enough
head.
script together, they're literally just smarter than the Asura. They're the smartest things ever.
I had a thing I was going to say, and now I've forgotten it.
The
Welcome
CREB's
to-
other maxed out stat was tech.
How many stats are there?
I think in that game there was 5.
So you had maxed out 3 stats?
I had 1 in growth.
Oh,
I hard minimized
you
one
hard
stat.
You dump statted growth and whatever
Yeah.
the other one was. That you
Growth
dumped.
and magic, I think, was like 3.
Min-maxing is what this is called.
So you
Yeah.
maxed everything and had 3. That seems
Yeah.
like you got a lot of stats.
Yeah, no, it was because it was designed that you'd be competent at stuff. Like 5 being your average means that like having a 1 in something is brutal.
No.
Like I literally
What's the
could
maximum?
not 10.
Okay.
So
Oh, okay. I thought you. Oh, okay.
yeah, no, that's right. But yeah, no. So the
I thought you had I thought it was out of 5, and then you
Yeah,
had
me
like 5
too.
and 3 things.
no, it was out of 10. But so yeah, having 1 in something, I could not build a second settlement. By myself at least, I managed to do so only because another faction was like, no, we will build you another fucking settlement and then transport the CREB there ourselves because it's next to our capital city, and that's horrifyingly worthwhile. It's like, oh shit, the easiest trade partners ever will take this nice fertile land right next door to me and farm it and give that to us. Yes,
I love when being a nice guy that doesn't fight in games pays off. It's one of my favorites.
I love the diplomacy build because it lets me get away with dumb bullshit. I'm very hard to argue with.
Hell
Like
yeah.
what dumb bullshit?
Like
I don't know if you are very hard to argue with, actually, Cam.
that's fair.
Fuck.
No, it's. I think Chase described it as when I go, diplomacy cam is annoying as hell, specifically because it's like, yeah, he's usually right. In that, yeah, when I start thinking about like a negotiation situation, I get very into it, and I'm like, okay, here's what they want, here's what we want, and like, can we actually make that happen? And usually you can, right? Like most of the time, there's a best option. And then if I am betrayed, I become a little more ruthless about things. But that's not my fault. That's on you.
Ruthless with your negotiation.
Yeah, it's,
This was... Wait, actually, I can tie this into my... I study psychology, and one of my lectures last week was on persuasion in social
Oh,
psychology.
I remember what I was going to say.
Oh, do you want to say it?
Well, there should be an overscene in UniSFA where, you just get to see all the hand movements and stuff.
No,
Yeah, we'll
you don't
release
get the audio, though. You have to choose.
yeah. We'll release a podcast eventually, which is just a YouTube video of us moving our hands with no audio.
Not even speaking, just...
just
speaking,
Dance
you just can't
UniSFA
hear it.
edition.
You have to guess what we're saying based on the hand movements. The same way that right now you have to
yes.
guess what the hand movements are based on what we're saying.
But basically, a guy did a tournament for the Prisoner's Dilemma.
Oh, I love those kinds of things.
So
yeah.
he was basically like, guys, program or program a computer or some kind of strategy or something for the Prisoner's Dilemma, and then I'm going to get all the strategies people submit and throw them against each other. So every strategy it goes against every other strategy 1,000 times, and we'll see which one comes out on top. And the most effective one was just I'm going to start out cooperating. Oh, the Prisoner's Dilemma.
Yeah, I'm going to cooperate until you don't, and then I will never cooperate with you again.
No, it wasn't even that. So the Prisoner's Dilemma, for those who don't know, is you have two people. They either have the ability to cooperate. If you're saying, I think it was if you both cooperate, you both get $5. If you if one of you cooperates and the other doesn't cooperate,
Betrays.
betrays, you get 0 money and they get 8 money. And if you both betray, you both get 2 money. So it means logically the best option is to always betray, because if you betray and they don't, right, you get $8 as a as opposed to 5. And if you betray and they also betray, you get $2 as opposed to 0. So no matter what they do, you're logically going to get more by betraying.
Yeah.
However, if you both always just cooperate, if you both always betray, you're only going to get $2, but if you both always cooperate, you're going to get $5. So theoretically, that's better.
Yeah, and there's also in the prisoner's dilemma, they can't speak to each other.
Yes, there's no communication or anything. Yeah. It's just you're with a stranger.
It's always better for you to betray.
So the best strategy was called tit for tat, which is it always starts out cooperating, and then it will always do what the other just did.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So if the other cooperates, it'll cooperate. If the other betrays, it'll betray.
Yeah.
And this was the winner, and then he did another tournament, which was like, guys, can anyone beat this? And no one could.
Yeah.
Well, theoretically, you could beat it if you just betrayed every time, because then you
get that
win
start.
You win by like $3, but it'd probably lose against everything else.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you're doing, I think, because you help people out, and then if they betray you, you fuck them over.
Yeah, basically, like it's, I'm easy to negotiate with if in good faith, but once I don't think you're working in good faith, it's like, oh, I guess that's over. Shame.
He did a shotgun cocking.
Yeah.
Hand motion.
I sure did.
Check out overseen in units.
Note that it's not a shotgun coing motion.
What?
Cockburn.
I hope the audience can pick up. The audience is picking up on like the little cheering.
Yeah, that's the tab cheering for my sweet jokes.
Oh, I thought it was because the Queen died.
Wait.
Yeah, no. Oh god.
What was I going to say?
Okay. Oh, sorry.
I like diplomacy in games a lot. That's why the reason I like Twilight Imperium. One of my friends had a game called Eclipse, which is similar to Twilight Imperium, but it incentivizes combat a lot more. Someone play Twilight Imperium with me. I say as if I have time.
Yeah, no, right. I was about to say that game takes like a good weekend.
Rip.
But the first time I played the Game of Thrones board game, I won with enough money in the bank to stop the next wildling incursion myself, because I was just like, why would you disagree with me? I set fair borders with all of my neighbors at the start. I'm like, cool, that's where I'm going. I don't have to go any further than that.
Huh.
Well, I feel like because you're going to win if we don't stop you is a good reason to disagree.
Yes. Well, okay. It's usually I'm like not aiming to win.
Okay.
I think that's probably the best thing to do ever in any game.
If I then have four neighbors or 3 neighbors, and and all but one of them are stable neighbors, I can properly focus on that one person.
Yeah.
Whereas they are proven to not be trustworthy, and also have more neighbors they're fighting.
Fair.
Talking about science fiction and fantasy, because we're not the Unigames podcast.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or Overheard in Unigames.
There's a lot of overlap. It's
there
hard
is.
to avoid.
But I've been reading Harrow the Ninth. I'm almost done. But one thing I want to bring up, it's not really spoilers, is...
I might ask you to, cut this if it is, but yeah, go.
There's just a lot of silly lines and references to
sure
things.
Is, yeah.
It's the
references to what?
Tamsin Muir had
bits.
internet bits.
Oh, okay.
Tamsin Muir has put characters in this series that make bits that are references to things no other character gets, but you, the reader, will get.
No. The fucked up thing is that those other characters get those bits.
What?
Okay, so now we're getting into spoiler territory.
Okay, no, I was planning on only...
So this is not something explicitly stated, right? It's something that you infer from the second book.
I was planning on only saying what the bits were referencing, not the bits themselves, or who says
Yeah,
them.
no.
For example, there is a nun pizza with left beef reference.
Nice.
Yes.
That is... it's not even subtle.
The characters that are making these bits are culturally... they were there.
Oh, fair enough, yeah.
They can make those bits.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Big Chungus.
I feel like there's no way for this not to be spoilers. But it's somewhat explicit, but not. Yeah, it's complicated.
I appreciate us doing. The other one was snap back to reality. Oops, there goes gravity.
Yeah, that's again the characters make those bits because those are bits for them
and the reader.
Yeah, and the reader.
Anyway, that's all I want to say about Harrow the Ninth. Looking for a reading? No. I don't.
The bit I was going to get into with the Empires games was the Lich system. So for the second one that they did, because they didn't want to have too many factions running around, they said it was going to be teams based. So you'd have teams of 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
So my faction contained 3 sub-factions. So it was basically, I was the Lich system, which was a supercomputer made out of bones that a Lich had basically put his whole, like, soul into. Like, as, like, a phylactery situation, like, he was soul transferred into this computer, right?
Yeah.
The Groblins, who were an engineered race, like an engineered servant race, which is like a fucked up thing to do, right? But the Lich is not a good thing. So the Groblins are somewhat like they've got a lot of like they can build fucked up little things, and they're smarter than they look, but they are like pathologically engineered to listen to the Lich system generally. Like, they're easy to control. And third player played as a race of basically beings from the future who were soul casting back in time to avoid their own shit going wrong in the future.
Okay.
And they happened to soul cast back into the Groblins and immediately were like, okay, I'm going to put myself in a position of power here. And we're like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do what that big computer wants us to do. And so instead of, like, immediately the Lich system is like, all right, the Groblins are here, I'm going to get my shit, like, going, I'm going to start building skeletons to do stuff. He never got arms. So he didn't have the ability to interact directly with the world. And so they have this, like, fucking hyper-powerful computer, right? That they've built their society around that is just itching to get out into the world and do atrocities. But it can't, because it doesn't have arms,
what the
right?
fuck
like, it
is
could
going
barely,
on?
like, it could open and close doors and shit. At one point,
Yeah, you can do that
it
with
got
your
into
teeth.
at one
I
point,
do it regularly.
At one point, I got into a shit fight with the other players in my faction because they wouldn't let me do anything. Which, again, was the whole bit, right? I was doing diplomacy with the other factions separately to the rest of my own faction.
Let me be evil.
Yes. I was like, I was like, all right, if you don't let me do this thing, I will stop managing the sewage. Right? And it fucking worked. And I was like, ha ha ha, I knew I should have resorted to the mortal level of shit flinging sooner.
Question.
Yeah.
You say it's a supercomputer made of bones.
Yeah.
What happens if you do a supercomputer Lich of Theseus?
Well, it's like, again, the soul's in the computer, not in the individual bones,
Yeah.
right?
So what happens if you do a Lich of Theseus?
Are you changing the bits out one at a time?
Yes.
So you take a bit out. The bit that you've taken out does not contain the soul of the Lich.
Okay.
The computer does. You put the new bit in, that's part of the computer. The soul's in the computer.
So when you've eventually removed the entire thing,
Yeah, it's
the Lich has taken up residence in an entirely new set of bones.
Yeah, that's
like the
I would say
soul
it's the same
kind
set
of like.
bones.
But do the bones still have
No.
the, enchantments and animations? Can I build another supercomputer out of recycled bones?
Yes, it just wouldn't have the Lich in it.
But it would still work as a supercomputer.
Well, I mean, if you're replacing the parts, chances are they've worn down. But yeah,
Cool.
do you like it was? Yeah,
Do you need to do like special bones, or does just putting a bone in?
Oh no, it
incorporate
wasn't.
into
It wasn't like the skeleton computer with the like logic gates type thing. It was like an actual enchanted. Like when we fucked up the dragon civilization.
Oh, okay. So I can't
we were
just...
like, oh, we can add dragon spines into like the brain part.
Okay.
And
So
like,
wait,
got me
is
some
it a-
You can't
upgrades.
just make
Is it like-
supercomputers out of replacing bones.
No.
So is it just like
And it's
you've just
horribly
made like a
complicated.
desktop computer, but instead of plastic and metal, it is bone?
No, it wasn't like that. It was like a whole magical construct.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like a whole ass magical like entity.
How could it move?
So it could control itself, but
But it didn't have arms.
it didn't have any ability to manipulate its environment, right?
So it could it move?
It's like if you say you got a sentient computer, right?
Okay. I've got a sentient computer.
Yep. It can be connected to the internet, and that's scary.
Yep.
And it could talk to people, and that was spooky. But it didn't have the ability to like if you then like plugged a robot into that, it could control that robot and do stuff with
Okay,
it. Right?
so it's like an AI.
Yeah, it's like an AI.
Except it's not.
It was an AI. Yeah. It was. I was
It's an
literally like, I
AI.
wanted to build a fun fantasy skeleton AI. And it was like, yeah, as long as we don't give it the ability to build, like the moment it has the ability to build a skeleton,
Yeah.
it's won.
Yeah.
Like, it can then build more skeleton. It can do whatever it wants at that point, right? But it didn't have any direct manipulators. It just had, like...
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was basically like, I'm sorry, Dave, I can't let you do that.
Yeah. Or I'll turn off the sewage.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Dave. I can't let you do that.
But yeah, eventually they let me build cars, which was neat. I didn't
Nice.
have control over the cars, but I did
Oh.
build anti-air weapons. Grob Tech.
Did you have control over them?
I think I was helping targeting, but I wasn't able to directly control anything.
Okay.
They made sure to give oversight, because again, the dudes from the future were like, we don't think you should have that. I was like, please, I need to do violence. I have to commit atrocities, and the dragons were being very expansionist, so we were like, alright, well, we'll sell anti-air rifles to everyone. And we set up a
Anti-air
little...
rifle? Isn't this
Anti-air
medieval?
weapons.
Oh.
Well, so it was like a fucking necromancy-based railgun.
Yeah.
Because again, the
You
computer
had a
was
bunch
good.
of skeletons.
We
lined
had
up.
like the most fucked up tech, but we were just it was like limited by what they could let me control, and also by what the Groblins could understand well enough to use at that point. But the Groblins were like, they had some real endeavors. They
That's
were
so fucked
smart.
up, I love it.
I believe we had ICBMs by the end of it, or like the equivalent. But yeah, we really fucking did great, because we were like, we'll give away anti-air weaponry to anyone who's being attacked by the dragons on the condition that you send the skeletons to us.
Fair enough.
And I really did good. We fucking superconducted my brain with those bones.
I think this ties into our regular segment that is not regular at all, which is Overheard and UniSFA.
Irregular segment.
We had the
Shapes.
suggestion of... Well, Overheard and UniSFA is named... This podcast is named after a thing which used to happen.
Yeah, it was an old bit in the club where someone would post Overheard and UniSFA, and then it was out of context UniSFA, really. That's...
Would post... They'd post Overheard and UniSFA and then like an out-of-context quote on the Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I didn't know was a thing. But
It's from years
I
back.
did one...
You're young.
When we first renamed the podcast, I did one, and then we forgot about it not last 2 weeks, but it was possibly going to be a regular segment of digging up these old
So
quotes.
it's going to be a regular segment.
Anyway, I've got one here from Kurt Williams, September 13, 2017. Overheard and UniSFA. What if bones are filled with bone-hurting juice, and that's why it hurts to break them?
I said that.
God fucking damn it. That's your trivia for this Overheard and UniSFA.
It's worth thinking about. What else could be in there? Marrow? Fuck that. Marrow's not real.
What about Harrow?
Harrow's real.
Okay. I'm sure these previous two statements are both true.
Okay, we've got a
Those
little bit of
statements are
time.
true.
We've got like 15 minutes left in this godforsaken podcast.
I'm enjoying it.
Me
Having a
too.
good time.
I went to the Royal Show on the weekend. That was a fun time.
I was stuck in Augusta.
I was delivering food around there. It's not fun parking.
Oh, I bet.
Around the Royal Show or around
Yeah,
Augusta?
Around. Yes, I drove down to Augusta to deliver food.
I don't know who Augusta is. I don't know where they live.
It's the
It's
southwesternmost
hours and
point of the
hours
country.
away.
Oh, how come everyone else is friends with this guy?
No, Augusta is it's a nice place in some ways. It's got a very aging population, and it is a 4-hour drive away at best.
No. The thing about the Royal Show is that it's incredibly scuffed in every way, and we love it.
Oh yeah,
I've been in years.
Yeah,
I only have
I
like
went
fucking
last
Destiny
year.
artwork.
I went last year, but before that, last time I went was like 2007.
2007 is probably the last time I went.
Yeah, it's very scuffed. It feels like, what if you took a kind of crappy like rural town fair and then you made it like 4 times bigger.
You upscaled it to a state capital.
You upscaled the state capital, but you did not improve the quality whatsoever.
No, God no. Why would you?
It's all shitty game shows, over expensive rides, over expensive food. It feels like you're getting scammed the entire time, but you're getting scammed together.
Well, I mean, the Gravitron has straight up Destiny artwork on it, which
does.
is really funny.
All of them have like ripped off artwork that
Yeah.
like no one's gonna catch them for.
So what's it going to be called once we become a republic? Surely it wouldn't be called the Royal Show anymore.
The Republic Show. Boom.
the show.
The show.
The show. Honestly, like, you can just call it that anyway.
Yeah.
People
The
will
show.
know.
Well, like the state show, probably.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun getting scammed together, and also because Merlin paid for me to do things.
Merlin had a good time.
Yeah, we
Dude
ate
loves
we ate
rides.
it really does. We ate a turkey leg, or we both ate our own turkey legs, which are fucking massive. I felt like a caveman.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like I have this giant
Noticed
hunk
the
of
second time.
I have this giant hunk of bone in front of me, and I chow down on it like ugh, hunting good today.
It's fucked up that turkeys aren't extinct.
It's fucked up. it is fucked up. Aren't they the dumbest animal? Like,
Well, I mean, they're dumb enough that you can farm them.
aren't they like just statistically the dumbest animal?
No,
Me.
There are animals that don't have brains.
I mean, it
That-
depends
that
how you
are
measure
dumber.
dumbness,
Turkeys
right?
are dumber. I read it somewhere.
Like, an earthworm's pretty
On
smart for
Reddit?
what it's doing.
yeah,
I mean,
What if-
like turkeys are as well. They survive. They're still around.
I mean, earthworms
say
can
the
be
same.
pretty dumb if they're your partner and then they turn themselves into an earthworm just to prove that you don't
It's
love
just
them anymore.
I thought it was just a worm. I didn't think it was specified that it was an earthworm.
I'm
Where
pretty
else
sure-
would we be?
What if your
Mars?
partner turns themselves
Sci-fi
into a
sexiest
tapeworm?
planet.
Oh, man, I want to see... Well, I fucking like the sandworms of Dune, I guess.
Yeah,
If my partner turned into a sandworm, I'd be pretty chuffed. That sounds dope.
you would love them.
I would love Mello to turn into a worm. It's my boy.
There was a drone show which was also very funny because they set up these drones to like move around, do lights in time with the music, but they did it on an oval where people are sitting all around the oval.
Also, when it looks good from one angle.
It only looks good from one angle, and that's why several people on Discord right now have statuses relating to the drone line. Because we were sat at the exact 90-degree angle to see a line for about 30 minutes. Just a line with little
funny.
bits that move up and down sometimes. And by the time I thought about, what if I ran over to like an angle where it looked good to see how it was like, and I could
They
tell
rotated?
people if it was good. I ran over and then and then they were all moved back and stopped. The fireworks were good though. The fireworks were great. The fireworks are
So
always
like
good.
it's trying to steal Megamind's thunder, but like unsuccessfully.
Yeah.
Yeah, because 2D.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
I bet
fireworks.
this didn't even have Megamind come out of it.
Everything is scuffed about the road show except the fireworks. The fireworks are very well done.
They're exploded. I feel like exploded is a few levels below scuffed.
Nah, explosions are neat.
Yeah, but they exploded on purpose.
But it sure does destroy a thing to get exploded.
The other thing that
I suppose.
ruled my day in the Royal Show was last time I went. There's a bunch of stores there that sell like knockoff, like
Everything.
fancy clothes, like fancy brands of clothes and stuff. They'll just sell like knockoffs for like $30.
Yeah.
And I remember last time I was there was and I didn't end up getting it. There was like a fake Supreme hoodie, but which I kind of wanted, but also hoodies with just the Fortnite logo on them.
Fuck
Is
yeah.
fake Supreme like Vermin Supreme?
No, it's just Supreme, but it's not actually Supreme. It's just
Shout out to my friend.
they've made a
Supreme?
basic ass hoodie and they've put the Supreme logo
What
on
is
it.
Supreme?
What? You know what Supreme is?
Not off the top of my
It's like
head,
a
no.
fashion brand, which their
That
whole thing
explains why I
is
don't know it.
their whole thing is like very limited edition, like online only.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's just
Like
a
it's
brand.
all limited.
Good.
It's-
That there's
Yeah,
fakes
no.
of it then.
But
Yeah, it's like good that there's fakes.
I have a friend whose car has a big Supreme decal on the side, but the P is Peppa Pig's head. It's spectacular to see.
That's great.
Is it like in such an orientation that it looks like a pea?
A little bit, but not like spectacular. Like it's out of place.
Yeah.
This is not like an official thing.
Yeah,
It's
obviously,
clearly
yeah.
like yeah.
But I searched
just-
every single clothes selling place in the Royal Show for a Fortnite hoodie, and I found plenty of them. However, the sizes were like 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, adult small, adult medium. So
Oh,
yeah,
bud.
I learned that Fortnite is for kids apparently.
Yep.
Oh, don't get
And
me
for tall
started on
kids.
trying to find sizes of things. So when I get to Augusta, right? Because I was brought down on short notice to help move all the stuff out of my grandma's house. So I packed my bag that morning that I left, and I was putting stuff in the bag, and my cat gets in the bag. So I put down the pile of underwear I'm getting, and I take
you
the
let
cat out of
the
the
cat
bag,
out
and
of
put
the
stuff
bag?
back into the bag. And I get there, and I don't have any underwear packed.
Nice.
I left it on the floor next to the bag because the cat got in the bag, and I had to take it out,
Damn
right?
it, Bo.
And
cat got out.
there was no underwear in my size in that fucking town.
What?
Would you say the cat got out of the bag?
Yeah, the cat's out of the bag
You've been
now.
saying
Yeah.
that, yes.
There was nothing
Sorry,
larger
Jay.
than a medium in Augusta. Nightmare.
Jesus fucking Christ!
Absolutely hellish.
Is
What
this
did
a
you do?
humble
Did you just not
brag?
wear underwear?
No, this sucks.
What
Yeah,
did you do?
I had to go out.
I couldn't
I had to go
find
further
any
afield.
underwear to contain my massive...
No, just my fucking legs.
Your massive legs.
Like a medium will not fit on me.
Okay.
or it will like constrict the blood out of my legs and I'll die.
Really? I thought they usually speak to ghosts.
That too.
Okay, we've been
Just
recording
wanted
for a while.
to bitch about that.
Do any of you have? Okay, do we want to give some final thoughts?
Fantasy 14.
Final thoughts. Fantasy 14.
Yeah, final thoughts to see.
Final.
The last one.
The Last of Us.
Listen in your car. Fuck the police.
No.
Redacted.
Only listen.
Banned.
It's too late.
We're not
listen.
releasing this on MP3 anymore.
Only.
I'll use YouTube to MP3.
We're gonna do a fucking.
It's too long.
Anish
The-
Kapoor
I will
style.
find one that will do it.
We're
If
gonna-
it doesn't work, I will play it, record it in Audacity, convert it to an MP3, and then post it in the Discord.
Honestly, that sounds like penance enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
you've earned it at that point.
My final thought is, I don't know if I said this when I was talking about the RGB Mars taken over by gamers, but what if you look up in the night sky after you've just stomped a guy in Call of Duty and you just see it's blinking and it's your IP.
What?
Because you're
Blinking? Like Morse code or like...
Yeah, like Morse code.
Oh, okay.
Like the I discussed this. RGB Mars, it's been ruled by gamers.
Yeah, no, you gotta say.
It now
Oh,
it's
what,
gonna-
so you're getting doxxed?
Yeah, I'm getting doxxed because
Getting doxxed by Mars.
Getting doxxed by Mars. That's the episode title. We did
Doxxed
it.
by Mars.
Getting
You're gonna
doxxed
have
by
to listen to
Mars.
1 hour and
Amazing.
like 25
Yes.
minutes to find out what the episode title is, but it's getting doxxed by Mars.
Now I'm just thinking about Doom again, because Doom is one of those soundtracks
yeah,
that
it can be. It can be.
when
hard
I'm
sometimes
driving,
thinking
if I
about-
don't
oh.
have access to cruise control, I cannot listen to the Doom soundtrack when I'm driving.
What, do you just like speed up and slow down and shit?
Speed up.
It is like that sometimes.
Like there is a couple of soundtracks where I'm like, oh, it's not safe to listen to this if
Which Doom?
2016 and Eternal. I mean,
Okay.
the original stuff as well is fucking great, but it's not like it was a little more electronic in a way that holds it back.
There's
There's
a
not
funny
as much
story
drum.
about the original Doom music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Go
is
on.
it?
It's not even Doom music.
Well, no. It's like about a
It
wad.
was actually made by Toby Fox.
I hate saying not even Doom music in the year of our Lord 2022.
Technically, it is not even Doom music. It is music in a Doom wad
Yeah.
that was also included in a tile droppy game called Gemstorm.
Spectacular.
And like the actual title of this song was like actually lost for like 20 or more years. Like
It's just E1M1 now.
yeah, basically. But like they actually found it.
Nice.
Yeah, and like in the video explaining it, like I tried to do some internet archaeology to find it, and I found a red herring and deceived a lot of people accidentally to think it was called Starflux when it wasn't. And on that video, it's like got my comment explaining the whole situation with the music from Gemstorm, which is also from Doom. So yeah, that is my story about Doom music from...
For those of you at home, not even Doom music was on the first lolcat.
I am so lost.
We're talking about like the ancient memes now, or at least I am.
The lolcat. What about the Lamau cat?
Different guy.
What?
Different guy. Went on to create LMFA owl cat, and then
Do you Ruffle? Do you know what a Rufflecopter is?
Oh, I've Rufflecopter came up in my thoughts like last year, and I was like, "Wow, what's that doing?"
how did
Yeah,
it come up
I know.
last year? I forced you to watch VGHS.
I don't remember why.
VGHS is a web series, and there's a line in it which is, "Do you hear
watched
any
some-
Rufflecopter, son?"
I thought about
Yeah,
it
but
before
do you
that.
so
actually
good.
understand the reference? No, you don't.
A
'cause you're too
Rufflecopter.
young.
I don't. What is a Rufflecopter? What is the origin of a
It's an
Rufflecopter?
ASCII helicopter made out of like
The word
animated,
ruffle.
using like Ruffle and LOL and LMAO and like and it's animated
Oh.
and shit.
Remember when you could just do things? I
Yeah.
watched some of the old like Flash animations that as a kid were like the funniest shit. It's like, oh, this is not good. There's one joke that holds up, and to be fair, that is the one that keeps sticking in my brain.
Okay, and
But
there was
wow.
also stuff like people would make a huge animated stick fight,
Yeah.
like a full minute long, and set it as their profile picture.
Oh
because
my
you could-
god.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I watched some real bad stick
Aw.
animation the other day.
You'll know ASDF movie?
Yeah.
How
Astif
there's-
movie.
they're- Yeah, Astif movie. They're still. He still makes them.
No,
Oh,
they're
my-
pretty.
my favorite thing about the
stiff.
my favorite thing about ASDF/ASDF movies is that the sense of humor has not changed. He is still making them, and the sense of humor is still the exact same as it was like 10 years ago.
Have either of you, but probably can because John, you were too young, seen any of the A Random Day videos?
They ring a bell, and I think so.
They are like the prototypical ASDF movies.
I think I have, yeah.
And they were making 5, and then Flash crashed, and because when Flash crashes, you lose your data, they lost the whole thing, and it never came out.
Rest in peace.
But we have ASDF movies.
Okay, we're actually at 1 hour 30.
Final
thoughts.
Oh god, I thought I had mine.
You're gonna have
I think the last thought I'm gonna have is, wait a minute.
Wait a minute, okay.
I noticed, but I was fine with it continuing, so...
Final thoughts.
You can't make me have my final thoughts.
Final Fantasy trans my gender for the second time.
Fair
at
enough.
Least.
My final thoughts is I think too much about other people. I think too much about what other people's final... I asked other people for their final thoughts, and while they're thinking of them, I don't think at all. My brain turns off.
Share if you don't think.
Nailed it.
My final thought is find that Warrior Cats RPG post about drone strike.
Wasn't it posted pretty recently?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Post it on the Discord. Just find it. Drone strike Biden star.
Wow. Oh, okay.
All right. Good night, friends.
Okay, see ya. Wait, there's no music. I was expecting the music to go off, but there's no music yet. It hasn't been put in. This is terrible.
Give it a good 5 seconds after that before you add the music.